Let us see how much we are able to cover today. Mostly we'll try to finish everything, but let us see. Okay. Just a little recap. Yesterday, what we were discussing. See, we are in the last part of this chapter, where Krishna is mentioning about that how a Nishkam Karm Yogi, he focuses upon the Supreme. He focuses upon the Paramatma. And because of that, what happens is he's moving closer to the liberation. He achieves the liberation. So prior to this, in 16th shloka, there was a mention that how a Nishkam Karma Yogi, because he's acting with the understanding of the soul. So because of that, what is happening is he's not doing any more karmic activities. He's not accumulating any more karma, or in that way, he's not getting any more reactions. So in one way, basically, he's disentangling himself from the karmic reactions because he's acting with the knowledge of the soul. And then in this section, what is Krishna is telling that he's not only acting with the knowledge about the soul, but he's also acting with the knowledge about the Supreme Lord. So that is opening for him the path of liberation. Okay. So the first thing is when just focuses upon the soul, and one has no knowledge about the Lord Supreme, then then what will happen? One is getting disentangled in the material life. He will not have any reactions, but he will not be having liberation. And liberation will come when one will start thinking about the Supreme in some way, either as a Brahma Jyoti or as a Paramatma or the Bhagwan. So this is a section where we are learning this about this thing. So yesterday, you see, just a quick recap. We are in this section. Okay, so the 17th shloka was there. Yesterday we discussed that how Krishna is telling that how one should invest these four faculties, and by doing that, what is happening is one can very quickly move towards the Kachanti Apuna Avritam. One very quickly goes towards the liberation. And what is the vision of such kind of person? You know, uh, so he becomes a person of equal vision. He's able to see everyone equally. That how everyone is also a soul accompanied by the super soul or the Paramatma. And when a person comes to such kind of state, then what happens is he's already situated on the spiritual platform. He's as good as the Brahman, or he is as good as being situated on the spiritual platform, because one has come to this level of seeing everyone equally. And then 20 and 21st shloka. So this is what last we discussed. So there Krishna was mentioning about the symptoms of a siddha, the symptoms of the self-realized person. What are the symptoms that he does not rejoice he does not rejoice when something pleasant comes. He does not lament when there is something unpleasant. He has a fixed intelligence. He's unbewildered. He's Brahmavid. He knows about the science of God. He knows about the Supreme. He is situated in the transcendence, and he is unattracted to the material pleasures. See, this is asakt atma. There is a asakt atma. Asakt, when you say asakt means attached, and asakt means detached. So, so one who is on this platform, Nishkam Karma Yogi, whose mind is fixed upon the Supreme. So what is there? He will have no more attraction for the material pleasure. Okay. Why? Because he will be able to derive the inner joy. He will be able to have experience of the Akshayam Sukham. He will be able to have experience of the unlimited enjoyment which comes by realization of the Paramatma. So till this point we have discussed in the 21st shloka, and I think 22nd also we have discussed, right? So what was the connection? That uh, uh, why he is able to be detached from the sense gratification, and he is focused upon deriving joy within. Why? Because he understands that how the sense gratification is distressful, right? Yehi samsparshaja bhoga dukha yonaya evate adi antamanta kaunteya na teshu ramte buddha. So this is what we discussed last time, that how ना दुख योनि योनि का मतलब होता है वूम. जैसे मदर के वूम से द चाइल्ड इज बिंग बॉर्न, वैसे ही the whenever we go for sense gratification, or whenever there's a sparsha, whenever there's a contact of the senses with the sense objects, this contact is always going to create what? It's going to lead to the miseries. So the example is given of the womb, because just like in a womb, the child is not visible. Inside the womb, the child is not visible, but it is sure that the child is there and it is going to come out. Same way, whenever there is a sparsha, whenever there is a sense gratification, it is sure, it may not be visible immediately or apparently, but it is surely going to lead to only miseries only. In that way, it is being told that how. So a person understands that how the sense gratification leads to misery, and that's why an intelligent person does not try to delight in the sense gratification. Okay. So this is till 22nd what we discussed yesterday. Yeah. Actually, you see, uh, an example can be given, just like you have a sandwich. Suppose you have two big breads, or let us say, you have two big buns, but there's a bun. You can cut the bun and you can put some nice items within that. So, sense gratification is also like that. It's like, you are having two breads, big breads, which are completely tasteless, all the more which are very horrible to eat. And in between, there's a little good layer. It may be of some salad, or it may be of some butter, or some jam, etc. So when you're trying to eat that bun or that sandwich, then what happens is there are two breads. These two breads are always there. So most of the experience is only of misery, and there's only a tiny experience of the happiness. No. So what are these two breads? They are like they're compared with the hankering and the lamentation. So one bread is of the hankering. Hankering means craving. So when we desire some sense gratification, you see, the desire itself causes a lot of miseries. Because one is the mind is focused. I want to have this. I want to have this. How can I get this? How can I get this? How can I get this? So all the time one is suffering with the pain of the hankering or the craving. This is one bread, okay? And when one gets actually, then what happens is one cannot enjoy it unlimitedly, and one cannot enjoy it forever. So what happens? It brings frustration, it brings anger, because you get something, but you don't get the enjoyment you are desiring from it, and it does not remain with you for forever. So that leads to lamentation, that leads to frustration of the desires. So that is the second bread like that. In all the material pleasure is like that. The promise is very big, but when you actually, but what you actually get is very small. Okay. This is what we discussed till yesterday. Now see, next section is next shlokas. See, 23rd shloka now it's going to talk about, see, the link is, even if one knows that the sense enjoyment brings distress, the urges of the senses continue to exist. So Krishna will now advise to tolerate the urges. Okay. Next shloka is about Krishna is advising to tolerate the urges. Even though one may refrain from the external sense gratification, but still there are provocations from the urges. The urges are there. The urges of the senses are there. Right now. So Krishna is also telling that you should also tolerate the urges. You should give up sense gratification. One should give up the sense gratification, and one should also tolerate the urges of the senses. That's what is going to be there. Okay. Let me open the shloka. This is very important shloka. Okay, this is one link. Another link could be also this, that how, okay, we know that how sense gratification leads to misery. But just by knowing this, it's not that the desire goes away. Then what one should do? So then one should tolerate those desires. One should tolerate those urges which comes. Okay, that's what Krishna is prescribing here. Shaknoti heva yah shodum taka sharira vimokshanat kama krodho udbhavam vegam sayukta sa sukhi nara. Right? So what Krishna is mentioning, see, शक्नोति हेव यह शोढुम प्राक शरीर विमोक्षणात् काम क्रोध उद्भवम वेगम. Right? The vegam is the urges, the desires which comes, the desires for the enjoyments which comes. So they are born out of what? They are born out of this calm and the krodha, that is lust and the anger. The lust and the anger, basically the mode of passion. Like the same thing comes in the third chapter also. What is that shloka? काम एष क्रोध एष रजो गुण समुद्भव महाशनो महापाप्मा विद्धि एनम इह वेरिनाम. So ultimately everything is a product of the lust only, and lust and anger. Anger is also one of the forms of the lust only. No? When the lust is not fulfilled, then it leads to the anger or dissatisfaction. So Krishna is saying, see, Kama Krodha Udbhavam Vegam, right? Whatever Vegas are there coming from the काम and the krodha. Now, what one should do? One should shodhum. Shodhum means one should tolerate them. Na? One should try to one should try to tolerate them. Okay, na? Sak sharir vimokshanat, right? Now, till what time one should tolerate them? Till the time one is having the mortal body. Till the time one does not give up the mortal body, right? Sharir vimokshanat. Vimokshanat means giving up. Till the time one does not give up the mortal body, one should tolerate the urges, which means what? These urges will be there as long as we have the mortal body. It's not that the urges will subdue on their own. Okay, if we make spiritual advancement, then the urges may subdue, or fully they may fully go also. But in generally, for most of us, for most of the people, for most of the time, we will have to face these urges. So Krishna is telling that, tolerate, try to tolerate. Krishna is telling you, try to tolerate. Uh, Try to tolerate these urges which are born out of the lust and the anger. No, till the time you have this material body, and if somebody can do like this, then he is yukta. He is sa yukta sa sukhi nara. He is a happy person, and he can be considered as the yukta. Yukta means connected with the supreme. No, he can be connected with the supreme. No, he can be in the trance, means he can have meditation upon the supreme. And he can be happy. This is what is being told. Before giving up this present body, if one is able to tolerate the urges of the material senses and check the force of desire and anger, he will is well situated and is happy in this world. Okay, this is some very important things which we can be discussed here. So see, the tolerance is there. It's like a wall between our temptations and the transgressions. See, transgressions means like our activities which we do, to fulfill those temptations. So like there are temptations which comes in our life, and then there are activities which we do to fulfill those temptations, right now. So tolerance is like a wall which separates both of them, which means what? It's not necessary that all the temptations have to be necessarily acted out. No, one can tolerate, if just like the wall separates these two things, right? Same way, if one tolerates, then one does not need to indulge into the activities. Right? So tolerance is a well, right? Whether we are going to fall prey to some temptation or not, that will depend upon our capacity for tolerance. So that's why tolerance is a very great strength, and lack of tolerance is a great weakness. One should learn to tolerate the urges, right? And now, see, another very important thing to understand. You see, when we are practicing spiritual life for some time, can we expect that the urges will go away? No, it's not going to go so easily. Unless we don't make a very great spiritual advancement, the urges will not go away very easily, right now. So we should not expect that the urges will go away. Now, I'm practicing spiritual life for such a long time. Why still I'm faced with these lusty desires in my mind? This anger comes out. Why this is happening? So it's not that they will not come. The thing is, they will come. They will come. But what is there? By our spiritual practice, what is supposed to happen? We should be able to have a better strength to deal with them. We should become more quick and expert in dealing with them. Just like, like suppose there's a firefighter. A person is newly admitted in the firefighting. Okay. So now the first time when he goes, he sees a fire. Okay, so he will also be he will be also not very comfortable. He will also become fearful. Okay, how do I should where should I align the gun? How where I should do. He will be also fearful. But when he goes like that, the next time again he goes, he learns. The other people teaches them how to deal with the fire. And after he spends 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, 5 year, 10 years, then he becomes so expert. Next time when he goes, immediately he can shoot at the root of the fire, without any fear. He can do. He can be very expert. He can be very quick in responding to that. The same way, now with our spiritual advancement, what should happen is that we should also become very expert and quick in responding to these urges when they come. Like lust comes. Okay, immediately we should become very. They should not be. They should not be able to affect us much. Immediately we should have our weapons. We should have our weapons of knowledge. We should have our weapons of realization. We should have our weapons of the bliss which we have derived by the practice of the sense control. So we should be able to control these urges. But the urges will come. The urges will come, right? Just like a soldier is getting training. A soldier is getting training in the is getting training for the war. Now, he may have done best of the training, but when he is on the border, Now, when he's in front of the enemies, then he has to fight, and that fight is going to be a struggle. He cannot be thinking that, oh, I have practiced so much, and I have taken such a good training. Then why still I'm struggling so much? No, when you are on the for when you are in the fight, when you are in the war, you have to struggle. But because you have got a good training, surely you will be more equipped. You will be more capable. You can more easily handle that thing. No? This is what Krishna is mentioning, that how uh, when we become spiritually seasoned, which means when we become spiritually advanced, then we cannot expect that urges will not come. Urges may come, of course, they will weaken as we progress. The urges will weaken also. But what should happen is our response should become stronger, in dealing with them. Okay, and also we should also learn to repeatedly and consistently tolerate these urges. Very important. Again, repeatedly and consistently. When we do it for a period of time, then what will happen? Eventually, the urges will weaken. That will happen. Okay. Also, sometimes you find that you have done practice for some time, and then you find you find that the urges is very powerfully coming out. Sometimes you are very much agitated by the lusty desire, let us say. You just wonder, Arey, everything was going so smoothly. I'm trying to practice so sincerely, seriously. Devotees are glorifying me. How come that this lust is troubling me so much? Such a powerful volcano of lust is coming in my system. We should not become afraid of this. That may also happen. We should not become fearful of that. Rather, we should understand that these desires are getting weakened. It's a symptom that those desires are getting more and more weakened. Right? Just like, for example, like a circus, in a circus, now when the trainer is trying to train a lion, okay, so the lion is inside the cage, and the trainer is trying to train the lion, let us say. Now see, so what is the way people they train? They don't give any food to the animals first. When they don't give food to the animals, they become little weak, and then eventually then they agree to follow the trainers. That is how they train. So now the lion may be roaring very shoutily. Now when you don't feed him for some time, then the lion may be shouting like anything, and a person may think that, "Arey, better let us give him the food." But the proper trainer will not give him the food. He will understand that, oh, he may roar, but that his roaring is also a symptom that he has become more and more weakened now. Okay, and he may roar after some time. Then he will start following you. That's how it is going to be there, right now. The same way, sometimes if the urges are, we find that the urges have become more stronger, we should not become fearful. Understand that how actually they are becoming weakened. Actually, they are getting weakened. If we starve them, if we don't respond to them, then what is going to happen is they are going to become more and more weakened. That is going to be happening. Okay? This is very important. So we should learn to tolerate these urges. Krishna is giving this formula that how till the time we have this metal body, we should learn to tolerate the urges. So they may be there with us till the end of our life also. Okay. But when we practice spiritual life, we are equipped with the knowledge, we are equipped with the spiritual strength, and by them it is very easy for us to tolerate those urges. Okay. So this was a shloka. Prabhupada is writing the purport, you see. Uh, it is a duty of the transcendentalist to try strenuously to control the desire and the anger. Right? No? Try strenuously. Strenuously मतलब कि बहुत hard work करके. So devotee should be also very hard working, to control these urges. See, people are anyways working very, very hard. Even for material goals, people are also tolerating so many things. Somebody wants to be a good singer, he does not eat anything and everything. Somebody wants to be an athlete, he also follows certain type of diet. Some soldiers are there, they're also tolerating. My father was posted in Kargil. Kargil, crores of rupees have to be spent on each of the soldiers to place them there. Such a winter is there. So anyways, people are tolerating for for so many other goals. So we as a devotee should also be ready to tolerate. Should be ready to work hard and should transcend these urges. Okay. Next shloka. Now Arjuna is asking that, okay, okay, no, we have to give up external sense gratification, understanding that it leads to misery. We have to also tolerate these urges. But how one can do that? Just by just superficially, one cannot do these things, isn't it? Right? Superficially, we cannot just try to restrain ourselves from sense gratification, and superficially, we cannot just restrain ourselves from these urges. How one can really do it? When one is able to derive the inner pleasure, when one is able to derive the inner joy, inner pleasure, inner happiness, then one will be able to do these things. One will be able to give up the external sense gratification, and one will be also able to tolerate these urges. That is the theme of the next shloka, 21st shloka. यो अंत सुखो अंतर आरामस तथांतर ज्योतिरेव यह स योगी ब्रह्म निर्वाणम ब्रह्म भूतो अधिगच्छति. Baldev Vidyabhushan is giving the translation, you see. The Nishkam Karma Yogi, whose happiness is within, whose enjoyment is within, and whose sight is within, having realized the Atma and then Paramatma, attains the liberation. So Nishkam Karma Yogi, who has become fixed upon his meditation upon the Paramatma, then what will be there? He will be deriving the inner joy. He will be able to have inner happiness. You know, his happiness will come from within. His enjoyment will be within. No? And he will be looking also for that only within, not externally. So in that way, what will happen? Uh, Sa yogi Brahma Nirvanam, Brahma Bhuto Adhikachati, right? Brahma Bhuta means what? He becomes self-realized and he becomes Brahma Nirvanam. Nirvana means liberation. He gets spiritually liberated. So that's how. So what happens is one is able to derive inner joy. One is able to delight. One is able to delight within because of delighting within, because of the experience of the higher taste, what we say, higher taste or higher happiness. Then one can give up all those things. So that is what is happening because the Nishkam Karma Yogi has now learned to focus upon the Paramatma in the heart. He is able to derive the inner joy because of that meditation, and by which he can easily control the urges and the desire for the sense gratification that is there, because he has reached to the Brahma Bhuta platform. He has become spiritually situated, and he has. See, this word is there, Brahma Nirvanam. The Nirvan word is there in the dictionary of the Buddhist. निर्वाण का मतलब होता है कि स्टॉपिंग ऑफ द मर्टल लाइफ को स्टॉप कर देना. Like Buddhist philosophy, they say that how when there is a death, then what happens? Our mortal life stops. When there is a death, then what happens is the consciousness is coming from the material ingredients in the body. And at the time of the death, what happens is the consciousness goes because the ingredients also uh, ingredients also collapse. So that is nirvan. That is basically the stoppage of the mortal life. Okay. But when we say Brahman Nirvan means what? It's not only simply the stopping of the mortal life, but it is also like elevation to the spiritual life. Nishkam Karma Yogi, he is now thinking about the Paramatma. Or he's thinking about the Paramatma. So he's not simply stopping the mortal entanglement, but he's also now desiring to be, desiring to, desiring for Brahma Jyoti, or he's desiring to see the Paramatma. He's on a spiritual platform now. That's the point. Right? So proper
Prabhuji,
translation is, one whose happiness is within, whose active and joy is within, and whose aim is inward is actually the perfect mystic. He's liberated in the supreme, and ultimately he attains the supreme. Okay. So Brahma Nirvana means cessation from the mortal life and simultaneous revival of the spiritual identity. Right? Brahma means one understand that I'm a Brahman. I'm a part of the Brahman. Huh. So because one is having this realization of this, what is there? One is able to enjoy within. One understands that external things will not give me happiness, and one can easily control the senses. In other words, because one is able to have now experience of the higher taste, one is able to give up the external taste in the form of the sense gratification. So Prabhupada writes in the purport. You see, any of you can read this? You can read the whole purport.
unless one is able to relish happiness from within, how can one retire from the external engagements meant for driving superficial happiness? A liberated person enjoys happiness by factual experience. He can therefore sit silently at any place and enjoy the activities of life from within. Such a liberated person no longer desires external material happiness. This state is called Brahma Bhuta Purport 18.54, attaining which one is assured of going back to Godhead, back to home. Make spiritual
Okay,
memories
but
in. Yes.
that's the point is a liberated person enjoys happiness by the factual experience, right? Factual मतलब होता है कि fact जिसको बोलते हैं ना real में. So a person who has become liberated, or basically a person who has come to the realization of his spiritual identity, he can experience inner happiness. That's what is being told. Just like for a devotee also, by the engagement in the bhakti yoga, we find happiness by chanting, by serving Krishna, that gives joy. Why? Because these are the activities of the soul. So it is no more theoretical. It's a factual experience. One can experience this. Susukham kartum avyayam. One can experience. One can have direct experience of this thing. So one is able to derive that. He can therefore sit silently at any place and enjoy the activities of the life from within it. What are the activities of life from within it? Basically, bhakti, devotion service. In our case, for the bhakti yogis, and for this nishkam karmi yogi, he is having meditation upon the Paramatma. That will also lead to the joy. Okay. This, the point is that how a person starts delighting inwards, and because of which, what is happening is he's able to give up the external sense gratification. Okay? So, see, so for us, application point is what we should also have. See, in our life, Krishna also supplies us some or other experiences of the bliss. By the practice of the bhakti, we do get bliss. Like we may have gone to some yatras, we got a lot of joy, or we came across some reading or hearing which brought lot of bliss, lot of realization in us. So all those are like our treasures. All those good memories, they can be like our treasures. We should try to keep them nicely with us. Because when we are having a tough time or a low time, then if we are having this good treasure of this special memories, good memories, then what happens is then we can continue very peacefully, very nicely. And if we will be like very very cautious to get those experiences of bliss in our life, then Krishna will also give us more. We'll find that they will increase more. They will increase more. So we have to see that how they are happy. And whatever happy moments Krishna gives us, we should very carefully treasure them, preserve them in our memories. And, so they can help us to then avoid the external sense gratification. Okay. Of course. So let us move to the next. So 25th shloka now. Now 25th shloka is how does a person approaches such kind of Brahma Nirvana or the stage of liberation? How does one attain that the stage of the Brahma Nirvana? That is being spoken in 25th shloka. Labhante Brahma Nirvanam Rishaya Shina Kalmasha Chinna Dvedha Yatatmana Sarva Bhuta Hite Rataha. uh, Labhante Brahma Nirvanam, right? One can attain this Brahma Nirvanam or the liberation, the liberation with the Brahma, liberation with the Supreme. How? Who can attain this? Rishaya, Shina Kalmasha. Uh, It can be attained by the rishis. Rishi means what? The Prabhupada is translated as those who are active within. So see, one thing is rishi means Narad Rishi and all those rishis. One of the meanings of the rishi means one whose consciousness is active within, or basically one who focuses within, one who focuses in the inner world, not on the outer world. That is also called as a rishi. Okay. So it is told that rishaya sheen kalmasha. Sheen means what? Whose kalmasha means the anarthas, the impurities. So those people now who are active within and who are free from all kinds of impurities of the heart. Those impurities have gone away. So these people can get Brahma Nirvanam. These people can get Brahma Nirvanam. So basically, those whose hearts are purified of all the anarthas, impurities, they can attain the state of the Brahma Nirvanam. And what further? Chinna Dvedha. Dvedha means dualities. So they are beyond the dualities. They have given up the dualities of life. Dualities means success, failure, happiness, distress, heat, cold, all these dualities. So they are no more affected by those dualities. And yat atmanaha, na, Prabhupada is trying to engage in the self-realization. Or basically, it can also mean yat atmana means they are controlled in their mind and senses. Na, they have controlled mind and senses. So they have controlled their mind and senses. They have risen above the dualities. They have they are purified in their hearts of all the kalmashas. And also another qualification for them is sarva bhuta hite rataha. Sarva bhuta means for all the living entities. Hite means what? For their welfare. Rataha means engage. So so they are also engaged in the welfare activities for all the beings. So these are the people who can attain this Brahma Nirvanam. This is the point here. That who can have this kind of liberation where they are able to have access to the Paramatma, where they are able to derive enjoyment with Paramatma, right? So these are the qualifications. They should have Shin Kalmasha. They should have the impurities should be removed from their hearts. They should have risen beyond above the dualities of life. They should have controlled mind and senses, and they should be also well-wishers of others. They should be also working for the welfare of the others. Okay. So now see, for us as a devotee, for us as a devotees, what is the meaning of acting for the welfare of others? We do preaching to the people. We give them Krishna consciousness, right? That's for the bhakti yogis. Now here, in this context, it is talking about the Nishkam Karma yogis, right? Or let us say Gyan yogis, those who are those who are the followers of the impersonal path, let us say. So now, even for them also, they also need to have this qualification that they are able to think of others' welfare. Now, see, we as a devotee, because we are bhakti yogi practitioners, we understand that how everyone belongs to the spiritual world. We all have a relationship with Krishna, the relationship of love and service, right? And the ultimate gain for everyone is to be able to again be situated in that position, right? So our compassion is what helping everyone to understand this knowledge and to again go back to Krishna, right? This is a compassion for a bhakti yogi. Now, but one who is having an impersonal understanding of the Brahman, now उसके लिए तो ये चीज है नहीं. तो उसके लिए कंपैशन मतलब क्या है बेसिकली? दे डोंट डिस्क्रिमिनेट, दे आर एबल टू सी एवरीवन इक्वली. They don't try to exploit anyone. They try to see everyone as souls, and they don't try to exploit them, and they try to see them equally without any discrimination. So this is what is the compassion, or let us say the welfare, with respect to the Gyan Yogi or the Karma Yogi. That is what is being mentioned here. Also, one important thing, see, Shirna Kalmasha. Let's see, when the kalmashas or when the impurities in the heart are removed, then only one can have sarva bhuta hite ratha. Then only one can be engaged in the welfare activities for everyone. As long as there are kalmashas, there are impurities in the heart, what is going to happen? If we ourselves are struggling with lust, greed, anger, we will try to exploit others, we will try to harm others. That's why, uh, in order to be able to do welfare for others, what is needed is we need to have a purification of our hearts. Of course, it's not that till the time we don't have fully pure heart, we cannot do the welfare of others. No, whatever. The thing is, we should be actively working for purification of our heart. Then we will be also be capable of. We will be also be able to have we will also be capable to help others. We'll be able to also think of others' welfare. We need to have purification of the heart. Okay. So who can have who can engage in the welfare of the others, who are active within and are free from all the anarthas, right? This is just fill the transition. Those who are beyond the dualities that arise from the doubts, whose minds are engaged within, who are always busy working for the welfare of all the living beings, and who are free from all the sins, achieve the liberation in the supreme. Right? So these people can get the Brahma Nirvan. These are the qualifications. Right? See, these qualifications are very difficult, right? है ना, कलमश खत्म हो जाना, है ना, सारे dualities को छोड़ पाना, कोई तरीके से मन और इंद्रियों पे कंट्रोल हो पाना, right? Difficult है. So that's why next shloka, of course, we can read some part of Prabhupada. Please read this.
A person engaged only in ministering to the physical welfare of human society cannot factually help anyone. Temporary relief of the external body and the mind is not satisfactory. The real cause of one's difficulties in the hard struggle for life may be found in one's forgetfulness of his relationship with the Supreme Lord. When a man is fully conscious of his relationship with Krishna, he is actually a liberated soul, although he may be in the material tabernacle.
So the thing is that how temporary relief of the external body and the mind is not satisfactory, right? Now, so only material help is not all in all. One should be able to help the soul. One should be able to help the spirit. Okay. And okay, fine. So now next shloka. So see here, these qualifications are little difficult one, right? Now, so next shloka, Krishna is saying that no, one can easily achieve this nirvana, no problem. है ना? One can easily achieve this nirvana. Next shloka, see. काम क्रोध विमुक्तानां यतिनां यत चेतसाम अभितो ब्रह्म निर्वाणम वर्तते विदितात्मनम. So again, Krishna is telling about again some more qualifications, but Krishna is saying that how one can very quickly achieve this also, है ना? Easily, one can very uh, uh, easily achieve this, na? Brahma Nirvanam. Okay. So what else? Kama Krodha Vimuktanam. One has to be freed from the Kam and the Krodha. Kam means the lust and or let's say the desires for enjoyment, and Krodha means the anger. So one has to be freed from the Kam and the Krodha. And Yatinam, Yat Chetasam, Yat Chetasam, right? Again, now one has to have a control of one's Chetana. Chetana means, one's consciousness, one's mind. No, one has to be controlled. One has to have a control over one's consciousness. Then abhito brahma nirvanam. Abhito means assured in the near future. मतलब very, मतलब जैसे शिप्रम. वैसे the word is abhito. Abhito means assured, without any doubt, very soon. One will be able to have brahma nirvanam. Vartate vidit atmanam. Vidit atmanam means, vidit means one who knows. So those who are self-realized. So those who are self-realized, they can very quickly get the Brahman Nirvanam, है ना? If they are able to be freed from the काम and the krodha, and they're also able to have controlled consciousness. Those who are free from the anger and all the material desires, who are self-realized, self-disciplined, and constantly endeavoring for the perfection, are assured of the liberation in the Supreme in the very near future. Krishna is assuring you, because prior to this sloka, those qualifications looked to be very difficult. But Krishna is assuring you, no. One can get the nirvana, no, surely in the future, if somebody acts in this particular manner. See, here one very important thing. This thing came in ना काम क्रोध. See, जहाँ पे भी आता है ना, बार बार काम और क्रोध को साथ में ले जाते हैं ना. काम एष क्रोध एष रजोगुणा समुद्भव. अभी भी थोड़ा देर पहले भी जो श्लोक आया था उसमें था ना काम एंड क्रोध. क्योंकि दोनों एक दूसरे से रिलेटेड है. And so see, calm means what? Kamna. Kamna means desires, material desires, and krodh means anger. So both of them are interrelated. We desire, we desire for sense gratification, and when those desires don't get fully fulfilled, what happens is, or when we find some obstacle to fulfillment of those desires, then what happens? It leads to the krodha. It leads to the anger. That's it. Both of them have one has to become freed from both of them. Both of them one has to become freed of. There are some main points, some important points. See, very important points to think about. See? So calm and growth, they come together. One simply don't have to renounce the desires, but redirect one's desires towards pleasing Krishna. Okay, I will just read out them, then we'll explain to you. Right? Like Vishwamitra's fall down. When karma is not purified, the constant battle is there, which is self-centered, not Krishna-centered. If we are motivated by the desire to renounce and not serve, we'll have eruption of the volcanic desires, leading to the anger. Kam and the Krodha, they direct our emotions away from Krishna. Right? Kamanuj. Krodha is Kamanuj. If only giving up Kama and not redirecting towards serving Krishna, then it's a middle plan. Okay. So what does it mean? See, like all of us as a devotee now. Now suppose we have some material desires, and now we just try to oh, I don't have to do this. I don't have to do this. The desires are coming. Enjoy this. No, I don't have to do this. I don't have to do this. So this struggle, we are having a battle. We are having a battle inside our hearts. And what happens is this battle, it leads to this battle is it leads to some harshness, some hardness within. There's a hardness within. There's a harshness within. Okay, and uh, that is not very conducive. That is not very conducive for us to be able to focus upon Krishna. That harshness is also on the material level only. So this battle within, that is also going to lead us to the krodha, which will also keep us only in this material world, right? For example, like Vishwamitra Muni, right? So when he was sitting for the tapasya, the first Menka was being sent by Indra, and what happened is helplessly he fell prey to the kama. He became lusty and he enjoyed sex with the Menka. The next time, he thought that, Arey, how the Indra has deviated me from the tapasya. The next time I will make sure that this doesn't happen to me. Again, he was sitting for the tapasya, doing tapasya. So this time then Rambha came. When Rambha came, so Vishwamitra Muni, he felt so angry towards Indra that he just wanted to burn this, the Rambha. So this time what happened is, he was having this battle, I don't have to enjoy this. Why Indra is sending this? He became very angry upon the Indra. So again, the Krodha came, which is also a manifestation of the Kama. And because of which, what happens? Again, his tapabal went away. Again, the tapabal went away. So the thing is that how till the time we are caught up with this, Krodha and Kama, we are still in the material plane. Okay, then how can one become rid of them? So we have to direct our desires towards pleasing Krishna. Right? Like see, we are trying to renounce. No, I don't have to fulfill this desire. I have to renounce this desire. Right now, so we have to renounce this desire but the impetus should be to serve Krishna, to please Krishna, right? Okay, I have to control this desire because it does not please Krishna. That should happen, if this is the platform we act, then what is happening, then it's a stable platform. But if it is not happening in this way, we're just trying to control our desires, control the karma, then what happens is, they will get accumulated, and one fine day what happens is they will erupt like the volcano. And and then what happens is it leads to, I was trying to do like this, for so long I was trying to do it, but why it happened to me like this? What happens is, that volcanic desires, that they burst out in the form of some anger. We become angry with some people, or we become angry with ourselves, and it may lead to loss of some relationships with others, or even the loss of our own spiritual life. We are trying to control our senses, and we are battling with them. And and our impetus is not that, our motive is not yet to please Krishna. Uh, Rather, it's more about, I have to control it somehow or other. It's like self-centered battle. Then what is going to happen? It's not going to help us. Those desires will come in some way. It will lead to anger in some or other way. That should not happen. We should learn to we should learn to one should learn to direct our struggles towards Krishna. Okay, we want to be renounced because it pleases Krishna. That should be the case. Okay? That's the case in calm and krodha. One has to become freed from this. Yeah. Then what happens? Then one can very quickly attain this stage of the Brahma Nirvana. Purport Prabhupada writes, see, of the saintly persons who are constant, Prabhupada is mentioning about higher taste. Of the saintly persons who are constantly engaged in striving towards salvation, one who is in Krishna consciousness is the best of all. Okay. Right? Because see, because what happens is, we are able to we are able to direct our desires in the right manner. Okay, the Bhagavatam shloka is there, translate. Just try to worship in devotional service Vasudev, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Even great sages are not able to control the forces of the senses as effectively as those who are engaged in the transcendental bliss by serving the lotus feet of the Lord, uprooting the deep grown desire for fruitive activities, right? So basically, what is there? Like in the process of bhakti yoga, we are more for trying to love and serve Krishna rather than trying to just control our senses and control our mind and battling with them, right? By trying to engage in the service of Krishna, automatically the control of the mind and the senses happens. Like Prabhupada was asked one time. One time Prabhupada was outside, and some people were, touching his feet, giving respect to Prabhupada. Prabhupada told the disciples that, you see, why they are respecting me? Prabhupada told, because I am freed from the sex desire, and I'm free from the lusty desires. And then all the devotees were, they were like, amazed, because, for them it was very difficult to think of that level, to be completely free from all kind of lusty desires. And then Prabhupada understood the situation. Prabhupada told, "Anna, no, I also have lust, but I don't have time to fulfill that lust." Prabhupada told like that. I also have lust, but I don't have time to fulfill that lust. Same thing happens for the bhakti yogi, our life should become busy serving Krishna, loving Krishna so much that, we don't have time for lust. That should happen, And that is the best way by which we can get rid of these desires. Vishwamitra Muna, Vishwamitra Muni, by his jnana, he was not able to control Kam and the Krodha. Yeah. But Haridas Thakur, because of his absorption in the holy name, because of his love and service to Krishna, he was able to control the Kama. So this is very important, for us, especially as a devotee battling, the battle should not be self-centered, We have to battle, but it should not be self-centered, It should be with the aim to please Krishna, I have to serve Krishna, please Krishna, and by Krishna's mercy only, I will be able to control these urges, I will be able to control this, Kama. So we have to learn to fill our life with spiritual desires, fill our mind with the spiritual desires. Right? Just like, the glass. If you want to get rid of the air within the glass, then you may try to create the vacuum. Suppose there's a glass, filled with some air. You want to get rid of the air within the glass. One of the options is what? You try to get rid of you try to create a vacuum. Now, by very hard effort, you may be able to create a vacuum, but then it may not continue for long. There may be some there may be some hole, and the air may pass in. The other way is what? You fill the glass with the water, then automatically the air will be driven out. Same thing, our process is of filling the mind with proper desires. Then we'll not be troubled by this. This is also there. Beautiful shloka from the Bhagavatam. Darshan dhyan samsparshaner masya kurma vihangama स्वानि अपत्यानि पुष्णन्ति तथाहम अपि पद्मजा. By vision, by meditation, and by the touch, only do the fish, the tortoise, and the birds maintain their offspring. Similarly, do I also, O Padmaja. The Lord is telling that how the the Lord also takes care of his devotees, just like all these animals, right? For example, like the fish, by vision, by vision, by meditation, and by the touch, right? Like the birds are there, right? तो birds क्या करती हैं? वो अपने eggs के ऊपर में बैठती हैं, उसको हिट देती हैं, और उससे क्या होता है कि जो egg के अंदर जो बच्चा होता है वो उसका ग्रोथ होता है और फिर वो उससे बाहर निकल कर आता है. The fishes, so the birds are maintaining their offspring by how? By touching them, by giving a touch, by touching, by giving a touch, uh, the children they grow up. Okay. Same way, like for a tortoise it is being told it how tortoise tortoise what does he does? No, he meditates. No, he like no like he will put his eggs on the shore, and then he will meditate. No, he will try to see those eggs, and by his meditation upon the eggs, that what happens is the growth of the embryo within that egg that happens by his meditation itself. And in the case of the fishes, it happens by their vision. They see it. Sorry, the tortoise, he's just meditating. He's not even seeing. The tortoise has, its eggs put on the shore, and then he meditates upon the eggs. The meditates upon the baby, and by that, what is happening? There's a growth within the egg of the babies. And in the case of the fishes, they see. Just by seeing there, by seeing the eggs, there's a growth within the eggs. Now it may not be scientifically proven also, maybe, but when it talks, see, there may be some particular type of fish, or there may be some particular type of tortoise, which may be doing like this. In case of the birds, it is very well, seen, by us. But we don't know now, like, who can think about the meditation of the tortoise? We not understand about it, right? But when the Shastras are talking about it, it is sure to happen. It may not be happening with all the species, but it may be happening with some particular variety in that species, some particular form of the tortoise. So the thrust of this verse is what that how even by these means a person maintains his offspring. Same way, the Lord is also Lord also maintains us. How does he maintain us? Like we go for darshan of the Lord. Lord is also taking darshan of us. Lord is also seeing us. By his seeing, he nourishes us. Uh, uh, just like we are trying to meditate upon Krishna, Krishna is also meditating upon us. Krishna is also very eager to take us back home, back to Godhead. Krishna is also trying to make situations which can be favorable for our bhakti. And Krishna is also trying to do touch. Krishna is also trying to give us touch, a physical touch, or some ways, by the means of the Shastras or by the means of the devotees, by the means of the prasad. He's also maintaining us. The point is that how Krishna is also trying to maintain us. Krishna is also trying to help us become more and more elevated. Okay, next shloka. टाइम बच गया अपने ठीक है हो जाएगा ये. तो नाउ देखिए यहाँ तक क्या हुआ ना. So till now, Krishna spoke about the निष्काम कर्म योगा, है ना, that how निष्काम कर्म योगी can work. So see, अभी तक क्या रहा, till 5th chapter तक अभी तक जो भी हमारा सीरीज रहा है इसमें, till now Krishna has told that Arjuna, you should do. See, in the beginning of this chapter, Krishna was having a doubt that whether I should do sannyas or I should do action, right? I should do renunciation or I should have action. So Krishna told that how you can have, na, you can have renunciation in action. You can perform your action which can be as equivalent as the renunciation. Okay, so you should do the Nishkam Karma Yoga. Till now, Krishna has prescribed like that, And by doing this, what will happen? You will become elevated. You will be able to achieve the liberation. And now next three shlokas. Now this next two shlokas, Krishna is now introducing to Arjuna about the Ashtang Yoga. That how one can also achieve liberation by the Ashtang Yoga, about which he's going to mention in the next chapter. The next chapter is going to be about the Dhyan Yoga, the Ashtanga Yoga fully. So Krishna is just giving a small glimpse of the Ashtanga Yoga in the next two shlokas, that how one can also become elevated, one can also achieve liberation by the performance of the Ashtanga Yoga. Okay. So he's saying, Sparshan Kritva Bahir Bhayyam Chakshush Chaivantare Bhruvo Prapanna Panno Samo Kritva Nashabhyantara Charino यतेन्द्रिय मनो बुद्धिर मुनिर मोक्ष परायण विगत्ते छ भया क्रोधो यह सदा मुक्त एवस। तो विधि बताया गया, देखिए, स्पर्शन कृत्वा बहिर्बाह्याम चक्षुष चैवांतरे भ्रुवो। आई थिंक डायरेक्टली हम लोग बचा पढ़ लेते हैं ट्रांसलेशन में। प्लीज रीड एनी ऑफ यू ट्रांसलेशन।
Shutting out all external sense objects, keeping the eyes and vision concentrated between the two eyebrows, suspending the inwards and outward breaths within the nostrils, and thus controlling the mind, senses, and intelligence. The transcendentalist, aiming at liberation, becomes free from desire, fear, and anger. One who is always in this stage is certainly liberated.
सो दिस इज अष्टांग योगा, राइट? दैट इज द ध्यान, प्राणायाम, प्रत्याहार, राइट? प्रत्याहार होता है मतलब कि अपने सेंस ऑब्जेक्ट्स को, सेंसेस को सेंस ऑब्जेक्ट से दूर रखना, शटिंग ऑफ अवर सेंसेस फ्रॉम द सेंस ऑब्जेक्ट्स, दैट इज कॉल्ड एज द प्रत्याहार ना। कीपिंग द आईज एंड द विजन कंसंट्रेटेड बिटवीन द टू आईब्रोज। सो अष्टांग योगी he tries to meditate upon, meditates in between the eyebrows. He tries to have the breath control, then that is called as a pranayam, right? Breathing. And he controls the mind, senses, and the intelligence, and he aims at the liberation. So he also becomes free from the desire, fear, and the anger. Yeah. One who practices the Ashtanga Yoga, he also becomes what? Vigate, Vigat, Ichhe, Bhaya, Krodho, right? Ichha, Bhaya, and Krodha, right? Right? ये पहले भी आया ना, विगत राग द्वेष, विगत, what was the shloka? Fourth chapter. राग द्वेष, राग द्वेष विमुक्तेस्तु विषयान इंद्रियश्चरान. This is, I think, in the chapter. What was it? Veet Rag Bhaya Krodha. Right? One becomes the one gives up. One gives up this. Veet Rag Bhaya Krodha. Discuss about that. And that talks about the impersonalist. That talks about the Shunyavadis. Okay? Huh? So how Ashtanga Yogi also becomes free from this Krodha. Right? Krodha is what? Krodha is basically the Shunyavad. The person who becomes frustrated with the different philosophies. They take to the Shunyavad. And bhaya is for impersonalist. They have a bhaya of the personal features, that okay, even after liberation we are going to be having the body again, again same miseries, so that bhaya. And ichha means what? That's the bhukti, sense enjoyment. Okay. So one becomes freed from the desire for bhukti, desire for the liberation, and desire from the and from the anger. Yah sada mukta evasa, and he also becomes liberated. This talks about the practice of the Ashtanga Yoga. That how also by the practice of the Ashtanga Yoga one can also achieve achieve the liberation. Okay. You see how it happens now. A karmi yogi, a nishkam karmi yogi also, when he becomes elevated, he can give up activities also. He can become a jnani. He can become a jnani, or he can become a Ashtanga yogi. It's a higher stage. It's a higher stage. Uh, above the karma yoga is also the jnana yoga or the Ashtanga yoga. So when one becomes more and more purified, he can also give up doing activities, and he can simply try to practice either jnana yoga or the dhyan yoga. That's why now Krishna is talking about the dhyan yoga here. So there was a mention about closing of the eyes. Papa says something about closing of the eyes. Papa says there is no benefit in closing the eyes altogether, because then there is every chance of falling asleep. Nor is there benefit in opening the eyes completely, because then there is a hazard of being attracted by the sense objects, right? So अष्टांग योगी ना, वो थोड़ा सेमी क्लोज वे में अपनी आंखों को रखता है. पूरा बंद कर देगा तो नींद आ जाएगा, और पूरा खुला रखेगा तो क्या होगा? डिस्ट्रैक्शन रहेगा. तो उसके लिए वहां पे वर्ड बताया गया है ना. Prabhupada is writing, this yoga process helps one become free from all kinds of fear and anger, and thus feel the presence of the super soul in the transcendental situation. In other words, Krishna consciousness is the easiest process of executing yoga principles. This will be thoroughly explained in the devotional service in the next chapter. A Krishna conscious person, however, being always engaged in devotional service, does not risk losing his senses to come to some other engagement. This is a better way of controlling the senses than by the Ashtanga Yogi, right? So Bhakti Yoga is a better way. Okay. So now the time is up. We are left with this one verse, which will require some discussion. This 5 minutes. So I think we can better take questions, because we came across some important verses. This I will cover next time. Better option. It's a very important shloka of the peace formula. We have heard it many times. Bhuktaram yagitapsam sarvaloka maheshwaram swedam sarvabhutanam gyatamam shantim rachati. I think this we can discuss next time. Just to have a recap, we have come across some important. See what was there. Uh, just to show you the link again, right? So we were here. We started here. 21st shloka, 21st Krishna was mentioning about the symptoms of a advanced nishkam karmi yogi, or selfless person, And so one of the symptom is he becomes free from the desires for sense gratification by 22nd shloka, because he understand that how it only leads to the distress. And also he controls he also tolerates the urges. That is the 23rd shloka, till the end of till the time one is having the body, the urges are natural to come. So one tries to control those urges. But how one will be able to control the urges and control oneself from the sense gratification? Because one is able to derive the inner joy. That is the 24th shloka. Right? Antah sukha, antar arama. One is able to derive the inner joy. Because of one's meditation upon the Paramatma. Connection with the Absolute. That's how it happens. Okay. And then 25th shloka. Okay, what is the sadhana? 25th and 26th, what is the sadhana for one to be able to achieve to this platform of Brahma Nirvana? One has to become free from the kalmasha, one has to be controlled in the mind and senses, one has to rise above the dualities, one has to also be working for the others' welfare. Okay, and also 26th shloka again, Krishna says that it is easy. One can surely get it, if one becomes free from this calm and the krodha, especially calm and krodha. Okay? And the last two shlokas talking about Ashtanga Yoga. Okay, so one thing which I just forgot to mention was about. So you see, when we come across the temptations in our life, so that shows that maybe our connection with Krishna is getting loosened. So we have to become more attentive again to revive our connection with Krishna to have our bhakti. Like in the West, in many of the Western countries, like when they are having their highways, so na, just near the highways, they have some bumps, some bumpy roads are there. So what happens, the highways are very, very nice. One can run at the speed of 150, 200 kilometers per hour like that, suppose sometimes some person is riding and it's a very, very smooth road. So in case if somebody falls asleep, then what will happen? The vehicle may go to one side, let us say. So then there's a bump, immediately one can get, again one can become attentive that, oh, I'm going the wrong way. Again, one can put oneself on the right road. So same way in our Krishna conscious journey also, the road is very smooth, but in case if sometimes now we loosen our connection with Krishna, we become slack in our practices, then Krishna purposefully sends those jerks, those bumps, so that we can become again attentive. So we should not become fearful from those temptations when they come in our life. This was one small thing was, So let us open forum for questions. कोई क्वेश्चन है किसी का तो हम डिस्कस कर सकते हैं. चैट बॉक्स पे कोई क्वेश्चन आया है क्या? नो.
प्रोजी फ्री फ्रॉम कलमशा मतलब फ्री फ्रॉम
जस्ट
एनवी
एक सेकंड ना, एक सेकंड. आपका थोड़ा आवाज कम आ रहा है. हाँ बोलो.
प्रोजी पूछ रहा था ये फ्री फ्रॉम कलमशा मतलब एनवी के लिए ही बोला गया है बेसिकली.
कलमशा मतलब all kinds of impurities, lust, greed, anger, envy, सारी impurities के लिए, शोक, मोह, भय, all impurities, all types of anarthas, all those things, right? Mainly these 6 things: shok, moh, bhaya, all these things, all kinds of impurities, which pose a obstacle for one to have focus upon the Supreme Lord. Okay, anything else?
ओके प्रोजी. प्रोजी इसमें एक चीज और आया था ये 24 में और 25 में कि ही इज लिबरेटेड इन सुप्रीम. तो मतलब ये जैसे अलग अलग टाइप के लिए जैसे इम्पर्सनलिस्ट है तो उसके लिए ब्राह्मण में ऐसा ऐसा मतलब है वो समझ में नहीं आ रहा था लिबरेटेड इन सुप्रीम मतलब.
हाँ मतलब देखो अभी क्या है, सी दिस इज टॉकिंग अबाउट अ पर्सन हु इज स्टिल इन द मर्टल वर्ल्ड, है ना? तो मतलब है ना, even though he's in the material world, he's not in the material world, because why? He's fixed in his meditation. Suppose if his meditation is Brahma Jyoti, so now he has no more material desires, he's no more working for the material desires, so for all the practical purposes he is now acting on the platform of the soul only, because the soul is not having any hankering, any lamentation, like there's a shloka, na, Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma na sochati na kankshati. A person who is situated on the special platform, na shochati na kankshati, he has no hankerings and no lamentations, no material desires like that, So it's not that he has already reached Brahma Jyoti. It means that he's as good as he's in the position as good as reaching to the Brahma Jyoti, or as good as reaching to the platform of having full absorption into the Paramatma.
Right? That's the point. Like for example, like for a devotee, now if a devotee is fully absorbed into devotional service, it is as good as reaching to the spiritual world, isn't it? Because in the spiritual world also one is absorbed fully into the devotional service of Krishna. So
Yes,
now
Prabhuji.
similarly your body may be there, you are still there, you are acting in this world. But because you are fully, your consciousness is only fully absorbed into devotional service, it is as good as you are transported to the spiritual world. That's the point. Okay.
Okay.
Fine. और कुछ?
Thank you, Prabhuji.
ओके, आई थिंक कोई क्वेश्चन नहीं है, तो फिर नेक्स्ट टाइम फिर हम लोग इसको कंप्लीट कर लेंगे चैप्टर को. अनदर 5 मिनट्स, 5-6 मिनट्स विल रिक्वायर फॉर फिनिशिंग दिस चैप्टर. थैंक यू सो मच. प्रभुपाद की जय. गौर भक्त वृंद की जय.